Hello, students. Today we are going to start the topic digestion and absorption and body metabolism. This is Bishwajit Satpathy. Let's discuss the topic one by one, and hopefully, it will help you regarding your CBSE and NCRT syllabus for 11th class. So, let's start. So basically, we all know that digestion is a form of catabolism reaction, and moreover, we would like to initiate the topic by saying that what is digestion. So digestion is breakdown of complex substance into simple substance. So basically, what do you mean by catabolism and anabolism? So let's have an idea about what is anabolism and what is catabolism. So if I'll simply say anabolism and catabolism, so anabolism is the process by which simple substance are synthesized to form a complex substance. While in catabolism reaction, complex substance forms simple substance. Like this is the constructive process in case of anabolism, and in case of catabolism, it is a completely destructive process. And here it is requiring ATP because obviously ATP will provide the energy for the construction, and in case of catabolism it releases the energy in form of ATP. And moreover, anabolic reaction is endorzonic reaction, and in case of catabolic reaction it is exergonic. Now my dear friends, what is endorzonic and what is exergonic? Endorzonic means where the free energy is positive, where the free energy is positive, that is in case of anabolism, and where the negative energy, in the sense free energy in the form of negative, that means less than zero, that is exergonic. That means during the spontaneous reaction where the release of negative free energy is negative, that is in case of catabolism. Okay, and specifically if we talk about anabolism, they do not use oxygen, but in case of catabolism they use oxygen for the oxidation process. Okay, and in case of anabolism it is functional at the time of resting as well as sleeping also, but in case of catabolism it is specifically active during the body activities. Okay, and here in case of anabolism it is producing the kinetic energy into potential energy, but in case of catabolism the potential energy is being converted into kinetic energy. Here are some examples of anabolism: photosynthesis, protein synthesis, lipid synthesis, glycogen synthesis. Here all these forms are formed from the simple inorganic substance to complex one. But in case of catabolism, like respiration, digestion and excretion, all these are coming under catabolism reaction. So now we got an overview idea regarding catabolism. So basically now we can say that digestion is a form of catabolic reaction. So specifically if we talk about the function of digestive system, so obviously there is a combination of few organ system which make this possible. It is comprised the system called digestive system. So they helps in breakdown of indigested food, which known as digestion, then coming absorption, passage of nutrients into the blood, and finally metabolism, that means production of cellular energy in the form of ATP. Okay, so now let's discuss about gastrointestinal tract or GI tract. So it is a continuous and hollow coiled tube that digests the food, break it down and absorb the fragments through its lining into the blood. It is the process which carried out in the tract, and this tract is known as gastrointestinal tract. Okay, here is there is an overview of digestive system. Okay, starting from the mouth and ends at anus. Okay, so this is the entire anatomy of specific digestive system. We're starting from mouth, oral cavity, all the glands are over there: parotid gland, sublingual gland, submandibular gland. And if you don't know about these glands, these are the part of salivary glands only. The first one here, this one is the parotid gland. Okay, which is the largest gland and which is present in front of the ear, and the secretion is released near the upper molar. Okay, and then coming to submandibular gland, this is another type of major salivary gland which present your below the jaw under the tongue. The saliva particularly released under the tongue, and the shape or structure is somehow look like walnut. Okay, and lastly coming to sublingual gland, this is the smallest gland and which is looks like somehow almond, and it is present either side of your tongue. Okay, and apart from that there are several like n number of minor glands are also there, in like more than 100 of minor glands, salivary glands are also there in case of lining of your lips, tongues, pancreas, in your alimentary canal, as well as in your tongue, in your larynx. So all over there are some amount of microscopic small or minor salivary glands also there, which helps in the process of you know process of easy going of the food and in case of digestion. Okay, so now let's discuss about the anatomy of mouth. So specifically this is known as oral cavity, and if you divide all these parts of anatomically, so first comes lips, which is known as labia, which helps in protection of anterior opening. Okay, you can clearly visible over here lips. Okay, and this is the labia, there is two labia over here. Then coming to cheeks, which form the lateral wall. Okay, and then coming to hard palate, which forms the anterior roof. Okay, and then coming to soft palate, which forms the posterior roof. There is two roof over here, one is anterior roof, another is posterior roof, which is like formed due to presence of hard palate and soft palate. Okay, and then lastly coming to uvula. Uvula is nothing but the fleshy projection of the soft palate. This soft palate, in the end of this, you can visualize over here under the soft palate, this is the fleshy projection of the soft palate. So this is the anatomy of mouth or oral cavity. Clear? Okay, so now vestibules are also there, which is the space in between the lips externally and teeth and gums internally. So this is the space, this is the place, okay, which is called vestibules. This is the space particularly between the like teeth and gums particularly. Okay, and then muscular part, tongue, which is attached to the hyoid and styloid, and by the lingual phrellum. Okay, and phrellum is like nothing but is the membrane that secures the tongue to the floor of the mouth and limits the movement. There is a particular limitation over the tongue movement, so this is due to the presence of phrellum. Okay, this is about your anatomy of mouth or oral cavity. Apart from that, there is tonsil over here. Two types of tonsil is present. Okay, so there is a palatine tonsil, and apart from that there is a lingual tonsil. Okay, so two tonsils are present in your mouth. Clear? Okay, so specifically let's discuss about the process of the mouth, like how mouth being processed. So specifically digestion are also two types. One is mechanical digestion, another is chemical digestion. So what is mechanical digestion? Mechanical digestion, specifically the physical digestion, that means the physical breakdown of food, which is done by chewing. Okay, and like simply breakdown like crushing by help of teeth. So this is process called mastication or chewing. This process is coming under mechanical digestion. Apart from that, mixing of masticated food with saliva is coming under chemical digestion. That means whenever there is enzyme involvement and absorption to the blood, all these things happens, that is coming under chemical digestion. And initiation of swallowing by the tongue and allowing the sense of taste, all these functions are carried out by the mouth itself. That means mastication is there, which is coming under mechanical digestion. Chemical digestion is also happening there, because the conversion of glucose somehow or carbohydrates into maltase, it is also done in presence of saliva only, salivary amylase, the other name. Okay, and initiation of swallowing by tongue, it is also carried out in the mouth, and allowing for the sense of the taste. Okay, all these processes are carried out by the mouth only. Okay, so now pharynx, apart from after the passage of mouth, the food enters to the pharynx, and it is nothing but the passage or pathway of air and food both. This is the common part where both food and air pass. Okay, and specifically we know the trachea is the windpipe, right? But still pharynx is the position where both air and food passes. Okay, and food is propelled to the esophagus by two muscles of layer is there. Specifically due to contraction and relaxation, the food is easily are able to move through the pipe, and food movement is alternating and contraction of muscle layer. As I said, this movement is specifically known as peristalsis. This movement is peristalsis and peristaltic movement. This movement is specifically called peristaltic movement. Okay, and the process is called peristalsis. Okay, so now coming to esophagus, Esophagus, as we know, it's run from the pharynx to the stomach. The entire tube-like structure, starting from pharynx and ends at stomach through diaphragm, and which conducts food by peristalsis. That is a slow rhythmic squeezing. Why? Because there is an alteration, as I said, one contraction, one relaxation. Likewise, so that's a slow rhythmic squeezing process, which is due to peristalsis, and this is the pathways way for the food only. There is no, well, specifically if I'll say, there is a respiratory system of branches off after the pharynx. Whatever the air is coming from the nose, it is completely off after the pharynx. It is separately transferred to the lungs over here. Okay, but the esophagus is responsible for the passage of only food to the stomach. Clear? Okay. So specifically, if you look up here, the alimentary canal is divided into 4 layers. Okay, 4 layers. Specifically, if we will talk about the layers, it will be coming under serosa, the first layer. Okay, then submuscularis. Okay, muscularis. Okay, muscularis. Then you will be coming under your submucosa layer, and finally the last layer, it will be mucosa. So these are the 4 layer of your alimentary canal. Clear? And specifically, if we will talk about the peristaltic movement, this is completed by 3 phases. The first one is your buccal phase, that means in your oral. Okay, then second movement is your pharyngeal phase, near about the pharynx. Okay, which is peristalsis is occurring over here, and the last one towards the stomach, which is esophageal phase. There is 3 phases over here. One is your swallowing phase, when process starts initially from the mouth itself, so it is the buccal phase. Then it leads to the pharyngeal phase, which is near about the pharynx, and towards the end, which is known as esophageal phase. Okay, so after the food reaches to the stomach specifically, so here we are only discussing about the anatomy part of all these body parts. Then later on we will be discussing about the process or mechanism of digestion. Okay, so yeah, so specifically if we talk about stomach, so located on the left side of the abdominal cavity. Okay, and when full folds or full holds about 1 gallon of food, it can hold, the capacity is around 1 gallon of food. Okay, and food enters at cardiopharyngeal sphincter, specifically, which restricts the backflow of any substance, like specifically food over here. So it is, there is sphincter is there. Okay, like valve like structure, which restricts the like backflow of food, and food exists by the pyloric sphincter, as I said, and between stomach and small intestine there is a specific valve present over here, which restricts the backflow, because wherever there is a valve in our body, the function of valve is specifically to restrict the backflow of food or any blood or any kind of substance, for which it can be a one-way traffic or one-way pathway for the easy going of the mechanism. Okay, so this is about your anatomy of stomach. Okay, so today we have discussed about digestion, initiation, and then anatomy of mouth, types of salivary gland, and anatomy of stomach. Okay, and this is your somehow anatomical view of your stomach. Okay, and here, as I said, pyloric sphincter, you can notice over here pylorus is there. Okay, valve which is initiated between the intestine and stomach. Okay.